21 minutes past the hour, Tiki and Tierney Show, CBS Sports Radio. Busy stuff. And, boy, the tweets that just come when we branch into something wacky, I love it. I love it. Although our next guest has incredible restraint, because if I were Tony Bennett, number one, I'd be a very good coach, a very smart coach, and a very wealthy coach at a very prestigious school. But I'd probably also be suspended because I would have attacked the referees for ignoring Grayson Allen's travel and up and down the other night against Duke. Still, they're 21-6, and Coach Bennett is with us here on Tiki and Tierney. Coach, how are you today?
I'm good. Good to be with you guys, as always.
Appreciate it,
So, well, what did transpire when we weren't privy to the cameras? Well, you had to say something, Coach. I mean, you guys got hosed. Let's call it for what it is.
Let's change the subject. Let's talk about Dave Matthews.
Yeah, that's what I said. BT didn't even comment on that.
Here's a cool story, though, for real. This is. I mean this sincerely. I just got the job, and Dave Matthews was having a concert in the John Paul Jones Arena.
Yep.
And I'm in here, on the job, head spinning. And I was in here while the concert was going on, and I stuck my head out and looked into the arena, and that was my first glimpse or taste of what this arena looked like, jam-packed with electricity. And it was just a vision of, man, if we can build, a quality program, it could be like this for the basketball games.
Wow.
I always remember that when I was very early in my tenure here. It was a good memory.
Well, Coach, I got to tell you, my favorite Dave Matthews song is "If I Ain't Traveling, I'm Going Up and Down."
Good segue back. I tried to get you off the path, but you came back to it. No.
Live Nation will love that story, Coach.
You get after it. You see the replay. Certain things are reviewable by rules, and certain things are not. And apparently that cannot be reviewed. Now, that might change. What you can review is if the ball is in the hand and the clock is at 000, but you can't review if the ball is in the hand and the foot's on the ground. I don't know if they never thought of that, but I think that might be up for discussion with the rule change, because that is a black and white. But you can't go back in a replay and say, well, the guy took steps, because what if he got fouled? Or what if, there's so many things, you're opening up a can of worms
True.
that I don't even get into. But I think the absolutes, like hand and ball in hand clock, is one thing, and perhaps that's another thing, the other one. But you just, it's you sometimes lose your cool in the heat of battle, and sometimes you don't see things, and you always try to, what do they say, ask for forgiveness after the fact.
Yeah, listen, we understand. And by the way, still very much in the middle of things. That is Coach Bennett with Virginia with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio.
Coach, BT is focused on the Duke game. I'm more focused on the Miami game. I think you're probably more mad that Mike Tobey didn't throw down that dunk on the rebound in the final moments, and instead you missed a shot, just a turnover, comes back, you end up losing that game. 2 of the last 3 you've lost. Now, it was against Duke and Miami, so it's not like you lost to some teams that aren't going to be in the tournament. But are you worried about these last few? You have UNC, Clemson, and Louisville to close out the season before you guys hit the tournament.
See, Brandon's focusing on Duke. You're on Miami. I'm focusing on Carolina.
Well, who's focusing on Virginia? Hey, Coach, who's focusing on Virginia?
No, that was a hard-fought game. Miami came out. Carolina really took it to them the game before.
Yep.
They were certainly ready. They played a real good game. It was a good physical game, and Malcolm Brogdon was terrific. And we had a chance. We got a good look, and no player tries to miss a shot. You can go back and say, well, we didn't get back in transition on a couple things, or we did some things, but we had a chance. We got a look, and we didn't finish it, and then they came down and made a play, and it would have been an interesting situation had we happened to get that one, and we just would have had to get one stop. But that's this league. It is down to the wire, and it's hard-fought games. And you're right. We've got Carolina, Clemson, Louisville, and I still think 5 losses could perhaps get a share of this thing. It might not. And, I think we're in a spot where if we play our best and play well, we have a chance to be successful in all those games. But there's also the reality of you could be beat by all 3 of those teams heading into it. And, that's what I always say. We know we can do this, but will we? That's the question you always have to answer as a competitor and going into it. And it's certainly going to show any areas that you got to improve heading the postseason play because of the schedule.
Well, yeah, knowing the quality of the guys that you have there, you don't have to worry about their motivation going down the stretch. But I got to bring up a hypothetical. I know you hate talking about hypotheticals, especially you're in the midst of your season, you're closing it out. But every time I talk to an expert, this comes up. And I talk to my producer, this comes up. What would the Virginia Cavaliers look like if Justin Anderson, and I saw him on the sideline at NC State, what if he was still there? He left early, got drafted in the second round, and it's all these things, but whatever. If he was still with you guys, the complexion of your team would be so different. Why did he leave early?
Well, he did get picked in the first round, so he got picked. What was he, 20th or 21st? I can't remember, but
I thought
he got picked in the first round.
Sure? Yeah,
Joe Harris got picked 33rd the year
that's
before,
right.
but
That's right.
Justin got a 3-year. You get picked in the first round, you get guaranteed money. You got in a real good situation. So I absolutely don't fault. Those are hard decisions for young men. I mean, they have opportunities. So, but yeah, he's a heck of a player, a quality player. He brings a level of, he just got that charisma. We'd be one of the more physical perimeter teams with Malcolm and him as we were last year. But, that's just how it is. I mean, a lot of the programs, the way we've built our program is we have to grow up guys so they become upperclassmen and they have that experience. A lot of programs, they have that kind of talent right out of the chute, and they lose guys after 1 year or 2 years. But we're kind of built to have mature teams, which we have this year, and it's why we've had some success. But, yeah, at times you say, boy, it'd be an interesting group if we had, that kind of perimeter backcourt with Justin back, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, you're right, Coach. I was thinking of Joe Harris, who went in second. But yes, Justin did go in the first round. But he's not playing. He'd rather be playing in Virginia. That's my point. Yeah,
those are hard. I mean, I don't, if you have an opportunity to be a pick in the first round, that's a hard thing. How do you know? But looking back at it in hindsight, he's got a 3-year guaranteed deal. He's experienced wonderful things at Virginia. We, hopefully come back, get the degree, all that. I do not fault him at all. And of course I would have loved it if he would have stayed, but I'm so happy that he got solidified in a good spot. So I think it was a win-win for him, especially how it played out.
We're talking to Tony Bennett, of course, head coach at Virginia, Tiki's Cavs, and he's with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. Virginia, another big season, even though we had fun when they got hosed against Duke and the Canes game, which we watched the other night. I watched the end of that, even though I was sick. They're still very good again, 21-6. And, Tony, I wonder if you can help me with a number. Of course, you're worried about your own team, but the overall strength of the conference is undeniable. Carolina's 1, Canes are 2, Louisville can't go, so we don't count them, self-imposed ban. You're going, Duke's going, Notre Dame's going, Pittsburgh's got a real shot, and I think Syracuse is going, and I think Buzz Williams is probably going to be there next year, and we know that they're coming. You guys get 8 teams this year? How many teams do you think go dancing?
I don't know, but I know top to bottom this league is strong. You didn't mention Clemson.
That's right.
It's just a strong – you can evaluate a league, either how are the teams just at the top, but when you start looking at the whole conference or, the majority of it, 75 to 80% of it, that's where this one is impressive. And I think the way college basketball is this year, there's so much parity. And I think our league has improved. Teams have improved as the season has progressed. But I don't know how you can't take a look at the leagues that are just, beating each other's head in and night out and give a nod to them to get as many teams as available, because I think it's going to be an interesting selection because of the parity and, the balance and the losses in really the top. You can go with the top 25. I don't know how important seeding is, quite honestly, in the tournament. I think matchups are always the more important thing. But what is a seed minus plus or minus 2 or 3 points because of the parity in college basketball?
Yeah, no, you're right. And when you look at teams that do well, we say this in football all the time, it's defense. One of the things that you do really well, what your team does really well, is defense. You're averaging under 60 points a game allowed. And I wonder, as basketball has changed and it's become a lot of ISO, guys just want to score, they want to be superstars. How do you keep that in check with your team?
I think every coach has an obligation to look at his team and figure out for that team, that particular team that year, what gives them the best chance to touch greatness collectively. You have to start there. And if that is, it's different for every team, other programs, and you go from there. And the defense has to be a staple. You had to enjoy the heck out of the defense in the NFL this year in the Super Bowl and that. It was outstanding. But I think there has to be certainly individual or freedom for individuals to improve, develop, and they'll get to show their stuff through the course of the game. The game just presents those opportunities. but you have to look and say, what gives us the best chance collectively? That doesn't always, fly well. Everybody wants to be the featured guy, but I think that's what your responsibility is as a program, as a coach. And, I think that's what comes down to the character of your guys, and some guys have to sacrifice, be willing to buy in and go after it.
Agreed.
Coach, well, listen, it's your guys, so I want to give you the chance to say goodbye to your coach there,
Hey,
T.
I just say wahoo-wah, man. When I talk to my wahoos,
That's what I was waiting for.
I'm inspired, though, that Dave Matthews inspired you to want to fill JPJ. That's awesome. That's a great story.
I ain't traveling,
and so did Taylor
I'm
Swift
going
when
up
she was
and
here with
down.
her concert.
Taylor Swift. Oh, come on. You can't claim that one, Coach. You can't claim that one. Tell them that one for the kids. That was for the kids.
Hey, no, Ed Sheeran was there. He opened up for her. And he's
Okay.
phenomenal.
So Ed Sheeran is good. And Dave Matthews, Taylor Swift, we can't say that you're a big fan.
Coach, good job. And when I place a little coin on you in the big dance, make sure you reward me. Win me some money, will you? I usually bet the under with you guys.
Yeah, Coach, don't comment on that.
No comment.
Thanks, Tony.
Take care,
guys.
Coach.
Got it, man.